Hey everybody, how you all doing? And lo and behold, we are in the Rift S. And if you wonder what that noise is, it's a guy here who's very impatient and he's waiting for it to take off. I mean, how rude is that? Like, just go round. Seriously, like, I'm sorry, I can't go anywhere. But right, we're gonna get this going. We are at RF Cranwell. I thought I better not do another video at Barton. I mean, I think we've exhausted that a bit now. So, oh, and it doesn't look like we've got any power at all. Okay, that guy's going to get really annoyed with me because there's clearly some issues here that we need to sort out. So, maintenance hangar. I wonder if it's the battery that needs charging up. Everything else looks okay, so I'll just do a recharge of that and see if that makes any difference. Oh, we've got some screens. It's looking hopeful. Maybe that's what it was. It's my first proper flight in the Rift S since I had the first one. I had sort of comfort problems. Turns out I'm an idiot and I wasn't wearing it properly. That is RF Cranwell, and it's actually a custom freeware scenery from the org site, which I highly recommend. Really do. So we'll just get going with this, as I say, and it's just so nice to be. I need to get rid of that boundary as well. Right, so we'll put the autopilot on. We'll go up to, I don't know, say 10,000 feet, should we say? The reverb is now gone. The back of a lorry or van. And I'm quite pleased in one way, because I actually started to get some pretty awful flickering in the right lens. And when I look out onto that beautiful blue sky after all the harping on about, you know, the screen door and everything, can I see screen door? Yes, I can. I can see pixels. I can see individual pixels. But it's not too bad. It really is not too bad. It's a trade-off I'm willing to make, because I've learnt a lot in this sort of, because I'm no professional here, so don't expect me to know everything. I really don't. I'm just doing it from a flight simmer's sort of perspective, you know, an enthusiast perspective. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that I've learnt quite a lot this last couple of weeks. Resolution isn't the most important thing. It is very, very important, but of course the most important thing is smoothness. Now, I don't just mean smoothness of the head moving left and right, but also the terrain, especially if you're in a flight sim or if you're, you know, in a racing game. The movement of the terrain and the clouds and the motion is so important. Now that I've got ASW, Oculus's asynchronous time warp, I have a plugin called OVR, which it's a script, and this is it here, right here. And here you can set your super sampling. I've got it at 2.0 at the moment. That is actually very high. You need a beefy computer, and particularly a decent graphics card. I find even 1.7 is fine. So I'll just show you. We can go down to 1.7. Bit of a pause, and hopefully in a moment we will be back. It's taken a while. There we go. Now, what's the difference? It's not a massive amount of difference, actually. That still feels very sharp to me. And then the real party piece is this down here. This is just completely transforms VR, and particularly X-Plane. Now, you can completely lock your ASW to half of the frame rate, or in because Oculus is so brilliant with their projection system, you can even do it a quarter of the overall refresh rate. So I can disable, so I can do that, press it there, and now it's disabled. And now, hey, I'm back in the reverb again. Everything's all juddery and weird. You get that kind of feeling. I can put it to auto, which will actually, generally speaking, will try and find any of these values here. Or I can lock it to 27. Now 27 is so smooth. That is the equivalent of 30 frames in the original Rift, bearing in mind that the new Rift is 80 Hz. So you do get a slight performance benefit with that, because instead of needing 45 frames per second, it now only needs 40. So instead of needing 30 frames per second, it will now need 27. There's just no juddering, no nothing. I can look at any of that text there and keep looking at left and right, and it is just perfectly silky smooth. I can read this. This airplane must be operated as normal category airplane in compliance with the operational limitations stated in the form of placards, markings and pilot operating handbook. And I can read all of that there, as I've just read out there, no problem. I think really the only thing is because it doesn't have that 2K per eye, each of these texts, these little numbers here and stuff, I can read them and they pop out absolutely great, but you can see the kind of pixels in them, if that makes sense. It's just a little bit more of a pixely kind of experience, because of course the resolution in the Rift S is really low, to be fair, it's quite low. But with the advent of our fantastic tool here and the super sampling that you're able to achieve, it's really great. Brilliant. So we are, because of my yapping, we're already at that 13 minutes out. We're going to Fair Oaks today, if I haven't already told you, which is in Surrey, or near Surrey. It's near where I work, actually. I've just been down there today and I've come back, and I was just itching to have a first proper flight in the Rift S. Now I can mention the other things as well, I guess, like the controllers. I haven't even taken this out of my hand yet, because it just fits so perfectly in my hand. Flight simming is all about relaxing and enjoying and indulging in a passion, and I want it to be painless and stress-free as much as possible. Oculus gives you that experience. I mean, the way I set it, as soon as I plugged in the Rift S, it was so easy to set up. I'm only running the Oculus Home, and I think you could probably even disable that, but I'm only running the Oculus Home, which gives me better performance. With the Windows Mixed Reality headset software, I was running Windows Mixed Reality and Steam VR, and that sapped quite a bit of performance even before I started. So yeah, make of that what you will, really, but I find that a bit of an issue. Our frame rate, this is the interesting thing, like, even though the Reverb is really high resolution, the frame rate is pretty much the same as it is in this, because of my super sampling. But the effect is smooth, very, very smooth. I'm leaving my frame rate in the corner because you will notice that it will probably be getting lower and lower as we are heading towards London. That looks like Luton over there, I think, and that's possibly the M1, which I've been on today. I hate the M1 with a passion. It's just, doesn't matter what time of day you go on it, it is always constantly busy. And I do a lot of travelling, and I could really do with my own personal TBM. Oh, the rain effects are back, guys. The rain effects are back. Oh, that looks so nice. Right, so here, guys, again, I'm not leaning to, I mean, that is a really small The G1000 has some really small displays. For me, I'm not leaning in at all. I've just realised something as well. I've got my IPD set wrong, and it still feels fine to me. This is the weird thing. Like, I'm not affected by IPD like some people seem to be. Like, I'm 65, but I forgot that I set it for the lowest because Melissa, my partner, she could not get on with the Reverb at all, and she's got a very low IPD. So I set it to 58 and gave her the headset. I couldn't get it off her head. She's loving it, absolutely loving it. Right, okay, so I wonder if I can just set my IPD quickly. It's so nice to be back in the Oculus software. I'm telling you, it's just brilliant. It works. It's like putting on an old pair of boots. You know that old pair of boots that you got in the corner and you put them on, you've had them for years. They just work. I've got an old pair of bike boots that they've been all around Europe goodness knows how many times, and I really need to get a new pair, but I just love my old pair of boots, and I guess that's what it is with Oculus. It's not all about the raw specs. It's a funny thing they've done, Oculus, because in one hand they've taken away some of the things we love about the Rift and how it's sort of, we want that proper second generation headset, but at the same time what they have given us, particularly for flight sim fans, it is a huge jump. If you own a CV1 or a Vive, honestly, stick your head in one of these and it is a mind-blowing experience. And if you look back at my first impressions of the Reverb, even then I said the jump from the CV1 to, hang on a minute, the jump from the CV1 to the Rift S was incredible. I mean, just amazing difference. The jump from the Rift S to the Reverb, yeah, there is a resolution jump. That absolutely, I'm not saying there isn't, but it wasn't as mind-blowing as I was hoping for. Right, how are we doing? 22 frames, 20 frames, everything feels fine. I wonder if I'm getting any notifications of, actually I'm getting 26 frames now, but no, fine. It's all good. So Fair Oaks, look at the scenery, fantastic, is another Orbex airport that we're going to. Very CPU intensive, particularly because of where we are. I'm intending to fly for another hour after this video. I'm going to go to London City, and then from there I'm going to pick up some VIP passengers. We are in the Stevo livery again, because I'm sad and I like his channel, and well, why not? Oh, the infamous M25. I'm telling you now, guys, in real life that traffic is a lot worse. That'd be so cool if we was able to sort of have a live traffic feed fed into X-Plane, and so that if there's traffic jams or whatever, it would actually show. I'm sure that would be possible because Google Maps and everything, and you know, if you do any journey or anything like that, it tells you where all the traffic is, so you could somehow implement that and put that in X-Plane. That'd be really cool. 4 minutes out and it's absolutely raining, teaming it down. Landing lights on. We're going to put our inertial separator on. Now I'm running this at 2 times AA because, again, you don't notice the jaggy so much because of the lack of resolution, and because you're super sampling as well. That makes a difference. So you don't necessarily need to use as much AA. definitely start slowing down now. We are running very low. The frame rate is very low, and I kind of wanted to show you it like this because it's a lot more of a better experience at lower frames. It's funny, isn't it, how your perceptions change. I thought the sweet spot in the Reverb was better, but now that I've compared them and I've had both of them back to back, and literally put the Reverb on my head, tried a flight, whatever, and then put this on my head straight away afterwards. It's not until you do that, and you have the privilege of doing that, that you realise the true disadvantages and advantages of both headsets. But for me now, I'm not going to be getting another one unless there's some drastic changes to it. I'm just not very happy with the Oculus Rift S, and whatever happens in the future, I will definitely always own an Oculus headset because I'm a huge fan of theirs. The content is fantastic. I have a few friends that have Oculus headsets anyway, so it's great that I can just use that ecosystem, so to speak. Okay, I'm going to shut up now, you'll be pleased to know, and try and get this baby on the ground. I'm sorry that's lit up as well. That's because of this the controller here. Try and ignore it. This is one of my favourite airports. I just think Olbex has done a fantastic job of this airport. 20 frames per second at the moment. Getting some slowdowns. Oh no, hang on, look. 14, 13 frames per second. Wow, that is pretty bad.
Sync rate 500.
I'm really giving the Oculus ASW a workout if I'm going that low. I'm probably going to get a warning in a minute. I could back off my settings, and I probably would normally if I'm in this area, but
sync rate.
This is all about
sync rate.
A proper stress test.
Sync rate.
Can I land this plane with 10 frames per second in VR? It's funny, yeah, there's clearly something that's creating this. It could be a Windows update, or it could be because I'm recording as well, because I usually don't get this bad of a frame rate. Oh, some cows there. We might hit that tree, but we're going to ignore that. Okay, whoa. And we are down. Welcome to Fair Oaks. It's funny, those raindrops actually look better in the Rift S. Why is that? It's bizarre. It's just the whole screen it's so much more vivid, so much more 3D like as well. And that sounds strange, doesn't it? We're in VR, but there's just a bit of more of a kind of immersion about it. I wouldn't know any of this if it weren't for the fact that I've had both headsets. And no one, you wouldn't. It's been such an interesting sort of test. Alright guys, well, I've got a few HP Reverb videos coming up if you're interested. One of which, or two of which, is actually a tour of Scotland, GB True Earth, as they call it, North. And Scotland is just gorgeous. I love Scotland so much, so I thought we'd do a bit of a tour. We used the SF260 and the DA62 for those flights, and as I say, that's all in the Reverb. But I will put this up first because it's sort of a continuation of my quest to find the perfect headset for X-Plane 11, and that has always been my goal really with this little rambling videos that I've done, is you could do a completely new set of videos for a certain type of simming or racing. You know, it could be completely different. Right, nice Beechcraft over there. That reminds me of Flight Unlimited 3. If anyone's ever used Flight Unlimited 3, that was their kind of flagship aircraft at the time. What an amazing flight simulator that was. Anyway, I digress, as I always seem to do. Okay, let's take these headphones off. You know, it's funny, the sound is not that bad now. It's quite good. It's not too bad. Don't tell me it's gonna... You are joking. Okay, so I land, and now we have blue skies. I don't believe it. Another thing I've noticed as well, when you click toggle, every time you click and toggle that up, down, there's a real nice kind of feedback, vibrating feedback, haptic feedbacky system. Now, of course, the other controllers have those. The Reverb Windows Mixed Reality controllers have that, but it's just that bit nicer in these. So yeah, back on the Rift S in an Oculus headset again, and that first flight was really fantastic, and I'm very, very comfortable in this thing now that I know how to wear it. I'm going to go over here and chat to this guy with a newspaper, and I'm sure he knows where to pay my landing fees. Alright guys, cheerio.